I'm George Wang, Chief Marketing Officer with Peterson Technology Partners. Today we have Troy Mattern, Vice President, Products and Services, Cybersecurity for Motorola Solutions. Troy, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, George.
You've been a cybersecurity professional for many years, and you are passionate about talking about change for cybersecurity and how to scale that. Please share with us your thoughts around this very important subject.
One of the challenges that I think every single CISO security director out there faces is how to manage the scale of the organization they're trying to support. And we see these in, some of the commentary or dialogue that we have with our stakeholders, where we talk constantly about security is everybody's job. But we don't always see how that gets implemented in the real world for them. And what we can often see is that while we'll say that security is everybody's job, a lot of times the CISO organizations will have almost everything coming centrally towards them. The problem is that doesn't scale across an organization. You become a constraint on the business. They're not able to move fast. And the cost of providing security from that centralized team becomes very large. One of the solutions in this space that I've been a large advocate for is the development and growth of a security champion community. So as an example, for ourselves, when we look at our development, I could not, at a financially responsible level, or in a way that keeps up with the pace of DevOps, be able to scale across our organization within all of our product groups and engineering teams that are out there. But we set as a goal for ourselves to get at least one security champion for every Scrum team that was out there. So we built this in working with the business based off of their unique products, the capabilities that they're trying to support and deliver, to craft those roles for them and build a structure and program to help ensure that they can have confidence that this person, who's primarily a developer or an engineer or a field tech, whatever the case may be, understands the security roles that they're bringing to the team and helps us expand our capabilities and reach, so we really get scale across the organization.
One of the things you talked about is scale. We know that in some smaller organizations, cybersecurity team might not be very large, or maybe it's something that they think will never happen to them. Mm-hmm. And I know certainly Motorola is a large company. What would you say to perhaps smaller firms where they're trying to start out, and what might be the first one or two things that they might want to do to kind of build that up?
Good question, really. And I think some of the challenges when starting out, honestly, can be the same regardless of whether you're large or small, because in the end, what you're trying to do is inject organic capability into the business rather than keep it holed up inside your own organization. One of the things I think that's key in helping to get the business to support this effort is being able to illustrate the advantages they get out of this. I think we've all seen it in security teams where there are complaints about how we slow the business down or potentially slow the business down. That ends up being an argument that you can play to your benefit in these cases. In the amount of time that a engineering and architecture development team may normally spend having to engage with a centralized team, which is slowing them down in the delivery of their services, by building that organic capability, you can quickly illustrate how providing that person with the training and skills they need inside their own team actually speeds things up for them. They're all concerned initially about, well, how many hours a week are they going to spend doing this instead of doing their primary job? The math always works out. When you look at the wasted time that is spent dealing with a centralized bureaucratic process and trying to get approvals through design reviews, through everything else, the math has almost always worked out that organic capability is a far better solution that gets the business running. So it's a great way to get that early buy-in, is to take that approach. And no doubt, the CISO teams, the engineering teams, the IT teams that you're working with trying to partner in this are already well understand the frustration of trying to work through a process where they don't have that capability organically.
I like the way you said capability organically because so many times I know I've worked with software developers where they are accustomed to the concept of quality assurance,
Yes.
testing and things like
Yes.
that. I think if application developers and at least that community builds into their thinking security around their development practices, it's going to pay off for everybody on both the front and the back end because they're building security in the foundation of the
That,
development effort.
that's absolutely right, because that's what you're trying to do here is you're really affecting culture, and it's how you're really implementing the security by design, right? It's not about going and asking the CISO team for a resource to help you in the early design of this. It's about spreading that knowledge that exists already in the CISO team so that those development teams, so those architecture teams can do this on their own. Right. And I mean, for us, what it means for them from an execution perspective is when they show us that they're able to follow the process, it really expedites how quickly we can move through it and get business ideas into business realities.
If you had a secret sauce or maybe a 3-step or 4-step process on how this can be made real and practical for those watching on today's video, what would you say?
Sure. I would say one, start with getting the buy-in from your stakeholders. Show them the time savings that occurs from this. Two, professionalize the role. I don't mean turn it into a full-time role because you'll lose the support if you do that. This person has to be an engineer or field tech or whatever their normal job is first, right? But build their skills. So that's one of the programs you want to look at is how is your training and awareness program supporting their development so they continue to get better. And the third piece on it is make them rotate, right? Because what you're really trying to drive here is the cultural change and the spreading of information and knowledge. Unfortunately, our universities, in my opinion, kind of drop the ball on this, right? All these engineers and developers come out and they don't learn this in school. So the onus is falling on us. So get their buy-in, professionalize it, rotate people so that you're spreading knowledge throughout the organization, and you will reap the benefits from that. Certainly, we've seen in our own examples that our job has become far, far easier because problems are identified way earlier in the SDLC process. They're either managed or they're taken through the appropriate risk management steps at the product, at the business unit level, without always having to come up and be escalated by us.
That's great, Troy. I like that 3-step process. Get the buy-in, enhance their skills, and rotate them. Sounds like a recipe for success. Thank you so much, Troy, for your time today.